you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good.
It's awesome to hear. Um, Leah, I see that you are also on the call. Is it okay if I go ahead and get started?
Yes. Hi, good morning or good
Good
afternoon.
morning.
Yeah, I'll mute myself and you guys can get started.
All right, perfect, perfect. Um, so th first off, thank you for sitting down and chatting with me. I
Of
really appreciate
course.
it.
Thanks for
Um,
having me.
you are known mostly for your acting and for your stunt work. Can you explain a little bit about how your career began and what kind of sparked your passion for this industry?
Yeah, I was going to college for something completely different. I was studying hotel management at Cornell.
That is different.
A- And we had to take electives outside of our major. And so for my arts elective, I took an acting class and I fell in love with it. And I had been feeling a little lost at college, not really sure what I wanted to do. I'd go to the career fairs for the hotel school, and nothing like really sparked my excitement. And then I took this acting class, fell in love with it, and thought to myself, how amazing would it be if I'm as excited to go to work every day as I am to go to this class? And that was kind of the beginning of the end. I moved to New York City, started working as an extra, went to drama school, and then um, the first commercial I booked, they were specifically looking for someone who was also a gymnast, and I had been doing gymnastics my whole life. And then we did that commercial. They flew us down to Mexico. It was for a cell phone for Sony Ericsson, which no longer exists. um, but then in the commercial, we were like floating through zero gravity, hanging on wires, jumping on trampolines, flipping. And so that was, I guess, the first time I did stunts. And I thought to myself, well, this is so cool. How can I do more of this? This was a lot of fun. And then I started doing some research and learned that stunt coordinators are the people who hire the stunt people for film and TV projects. And yeah, just kind of started pursuing that as well while I was also pursuing the acting.
That's awesome. Uh, Definitely have been there in college before, so I totally understand that feeling. But that's really
Yeah,
awesome that it's just kind of like one thing led to another, and here you are.
yeah, yeah.
So, you mentioned the stunt coordinators are the ones who hire the stunt workers. So do you have to like audition for that? Like, how does that process work?
It depends on the project. So if it is something very specific or that requires a certain set of skills, there are auditions, and I have done a lot of stunt auditions, but for the most part, you submit yourself via with a headshot and a resume in an email or you send a hard copy to the production office, or it's called hustling. You hustle the set or the production office, which is actually kind of terrifying. You basically just show up and try to see who the stunt coordinator is and approach them at an appropriate moment, like not during the middle of a shot.
Right.
And you just go up to them and you say, "Hello, my name is Elena Sanchez. I was a gymnast. I would love to work for you." I mean, not exactly, that conversation, but something along those lines. And that is how I got probably my first 4 or 5 big jobs in the industry. Um, just showing up at the production office or on the set and trying to meet the stunt coordinator. And then once you've done a few jobs, people know who you are, you get recommended for other jobs. Hopefully you've done a good job and you're easy to work with and people like working with you, and that just kind of then leads to the next jobs if you're lucky.
That's really cool. Because yeah, I was thinking about like actors auditioning for roles and was kind of like, how does that work for stunt people, stunt
Yeah.
performers?
It's
So,
it's very different because when you're acting, you have an agent and the agent is submitting you for roles, and yeah, the how to get a stunt job is pretty terrifying actually if you think about it. You're essentially trespassing on a movie set. And it's gone south a few times. I will mention that.
oh really?
Oh, yeah. Like, I've been escorted off the premises by security. Like, I've had my name announced on Channel 1 on the walkie-talkies as someone who is trespassing. Like, yeah, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna work again. I'm gonna get blacklisted. And you realize it's part of how it works. I mean, there are literally stories of people scaling fences and walls at the major studio lots and meeting the stunt coordinators that way.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
But I guess the terrifying part kind of matches the job because you can kind of do anything, really. So,
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. I guess so.
Um, I was looking at your IMDb page and I saw that there were separate sections for stunt work and for acting. So I was wondering, now that it is clear that you are pursuing more acting roles, are you able to do your own stunts? Are you expected to do your own stunts? Or do you have to keep them separate?
That depends on a couple of factors. One is, I guess, the size of the budget of the film. The other is the size of my role. If you are in a huge lead role in a film, the amount of stunts that you're allowed to do is limited for insurance reasons. Because if you get hurt, and then the whole production has to shut down. I mean, look at Tom Cruise on Mission Impossible when he broke his ankle. The whole set was shut down for weeks or months, and it cost them millions of dollars. But he's Tom Cruise, so he can do that. For someone like me, yeah, it depends on the role. If it's a lower budget film, often they want me to do my own stunts because it saves them money. They don't have to hire a stunt double, but I still get the choice. So, for example, in a movie I did called Demigod a few years ago, my character had to do a big fire burn, which is essentially where you get set on fire. And for that one, they called me and they asked, "Do are you interested in doing this?" The only reason they asked me in the first place was because they knew my stunt background, and I actually knew the stunt coordinator. So he called me personally and he's like, "Hey, Elena, do you want to do this fire burn or do you want me to hire a stunt double for you?" So they gave me the choice, and that one I decided to do it, even though I had never wanted to do a fire burn, but I knew the coordinator and I trusted him, and I said, well, if I'm ever going to do a fire burn, this is the time to do it with someone I trust. If it's small, just kind of, running, falling, shooting guns, that kind of stuff, especially me, because of my background, I'm expected to do that, and I want to do that. And yeah, so it depends on the budget and the stunt, I would say.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Would you ever do a Firebird again?
No, that was a one and done. Um,
Don't blame you.
and I did actually get burned a little, but it was my foot, thankfully, not my face. Which, um, yeah, I think that's especially why a lot of actors don't want to do burns, because if you burn your face, that's horrifying and
Right.
very bad. But yeah, I've done it once. I got it out of my system. I don't need to do it again.
Um, your most recent project is an action thriller, Neglected, came out a little over a month ago. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten the chance to see it, but I'm very much looking forward to it. So can you catch me up a little bit? Who do you play, and can you tell me a little bit about the story?
Yeah, so it's a detective thriller, serial killer thriller. I play Detective Keys, and Josh Duhamel plays Detective Shaw. He, on his first day of retirement, is called back into the station because uh, a kid played by Dylan Sprouse has showed up at the station and has said, I have kidnapped your son. I have buried him alive. You have 9 hours to solve three murders, or he will run out of oxygen and die. So it's an edge of your seat, ticking time thriller, very suspenseful, very gritty, and so I play Josh's sidekick essentially to help him solve what's going on without giving too much away.
That sounds intense and very urgent, like very
Yes,
fast paced. Got to get this done now.
yes, that's exactly what it is.
Um, what was it about the story or about this character in particular that really drew you to be a part of this?
I read the script. So I got the script from Jeremy London, who I had done three movies with at this before this one. He's also in this one with his brother Jason. They play brothers in the movie. Um, Jeremy sent me the script and it reminded me of Seven, which is a masterpiece. And I really liked the detective character. She's very grounded. She's strong. She's conflicted. And it just, yeah, I wanted to be a part of it. I love Josh Duhamel. So the chance to work with him was really exciting for me. And yeah, I just loved the story, loved the character, loved the cast. It was pretty much a no-brainer.
That's awesome. I like it when decisions are easy like that.
Yeah.
Um, how much stunt work did you get to do with this one?
It's funny you ask that because there were actually no stunts in the script for my character at all.
Wow.
It's an action thriller, no stunts for the stunt woman.
Very
But so I show up on set though, and in the meantime, our director, David Lipper, he had found out about my background. And so I show up on set and he's like, Elena, we got to put something in there for you. We got to add some stunts somewhere. Like, let's think about where we can add something. And so at some point, he was like, so there's a scene where Dylan Sprouse's character essentially walks into the station and surrenders himself, and he's holding a weapon. It's not a spoiler because it happens pretty much at the beginning of the movie. And so David, the director, he's like, "What if you parkour over the counter in the police station and like flip over and take him down?" And then, so we were working at a real police station. That's where our set was. And the real officers in the station were our extras. And so they were there with us on set and they were like, absolutely not. That would never happen in real life. Like, you cannot do that. So that idea went away pretty quickly. So we toned it down, and there's just kind of like a little, basically, I push him to the ground kind of thing. Um, yeah, but it was, honestly, it was kind of nice to not have to bring like my bag of pads to set, not have any bruises on this movie. So I enjoyed it either way.
That's good. That's good. I do think that's really funny. That um I want to go back to filming in a real police station with real officers as extras. I'm so that means that the station was fully active. Did you have to pause shooting for anything? Like, did they have to go do their
Yes, yes. So there were a few incidents that happened. Um, One, or a few of the scenes take place in one of the jail cells. And a few cells down, there was an inmate who I think was sleeping off his drunken shenanigans from the night before and was snoring very loudly to the point where it was interrupting our scenes, and sound was like, we this is too much, we can hear it. And so Josh went over to that guy's cell and just banged on the door and told him to shut up. And he did for a bit, 10 or 15 minutes. Then he would start again, and Josh would go over and bang on his door again. And I wonder, like, if this guy in his cell, like, did he look up at the little window in the door and see Josh Duhamel and think he was hallucinating or something? I don't know. And then one time they actually did have to book a new person, and when that happened, we had to clear out, and David, our director, took us for ice cream at the ice cream shop down the street while they brought in this new person and did the whole thing. Yeah. So it was a trip. It was very unique filming experience.
I bet. Um, did that delay production at all, having to work around that?
No, so we finished on time. Um, I think, I mean, our AD was really great. We Everyone was just kind of on top of their game. So yeah, I think that, I mean, that break probably was at least 45 minutes. Um, and we still managed to get our day in that day. And yeah, we actually shot the entire movie in 12 days, which is kind of crazy.
Is that the like shortest shoot that you've been on for a full movie?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. The other one, I think I did a 15-day one, but yeah, 12 days is definitely the new record, which is crazy if you think about it. Also, he only had like 2 weeks to prep the movie, which is also insane. I mean, prepping a movie usually takes uh, weeks, several weeks, if not months, and he did it in 2 weeks. Yeah.
That is impressive.
Hmm.
So, with working in a real police station alongside real police officers, was there anything that you are taking away from them and how they do their job that you'll take to future detective police officer roles?
Yeah, I mean, they were so great and just so down to answer all my questions. Um, a lot of it was physical things, like how do I, in what order, when does the gun come out? When do the handcuffs come out? How do I handcuff him? That kind of thing. So that was helpful to have and learn and take with me for future roles like that. And yeah, a lot of it was also just the that balance of, well, what are my responsibilities as an officer of the law, but I'm also a human that has real emotions. How do
Mm.
you balance that in a way to where I am efficiently doing my job, but staying true to myself? Um, I guess in terms of a role, obviously, if it's a real life situation, that is also a little different than
Yeah.
doing a movie, which is make believe. But yeah, I really enjoyed that experience, and it was priceless to have that on set.
Yeah, that's amazing. One thing that I did hear about this, that makes me extra excited to see it is that this has been dubbed one of the most intense serial killer thrillers of the entire year. In your opinion, what sets Neglected apart from others in the same genre?
Hmm. I, that's an interesting question. I think the fact that it's a father and a son, and I think what sets the movie apart performance wise is that Josh has a real son who's a little bit younger than the son in the movie, but I think that really drove his performance and his character. And I really, really felt that when I was working opposite him. And I think it comes across on screen. Um, yeah, so I think that, and it's about, without giving too much away for the people who have not seen it, it is about the idea of who and what have we neglected in our lives, and what are the consequences of that, and how might that come back around to haunt us, and how can we improve upon ourselves to make sure something like that doesn't happen.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, it's not something you see in very many serial killer movies.
Hmm.
That's awesome. So now that Neglected is has been released and people are getting to see it, I have a feeling that your work has not stopped. So what is up next for you?
Next up is Jumanji, which is being released on Christmas Day. Very excited about that one and to be a part of that franchise. Obviously, I can't say much about it at this point, but that was a lot of fun to work on. It was a dream come true, and I think it's going to be a really fun Christmas movie to watch with your family.
That's awesome. I love that franchise, so very excited.
It's so good.
Um, And then I guess my last question for you is there a role, like a type of role or a genre or even a stunt that you have on your career wish list that you hope to tackle in the next year or so?
Hmm, interesting. Um, I mean, I love any stunt that involves flying through the air. And, but I have not, other than that very first commercial I did a lifetime ago, I have not combined an acting and a stunt role where I get to fly through the air, do zero gravity, but also play the character. So that's definitely on the wish list. Whether that is actually playing a superhero and getting to do my own flying through the air, or playing like an international spy that has to go to the ISS or something and like I don't know, take down an international crime ring at the International Space Station or something like that. Yeah, that would be fun.
That would. Uh, I would definitely be manifesting that for you.
Thank you, thank you.
Um, but those were all of my questions. So thank you so much for chatting. I'm very excited to see Neglected. And I can't
Thank
wait
you.
for Jumanji.
Thank you so much. So great chatting with you.